let's talk about that Friday night game. They got nasty, didn't it, Roosters South? But charges, I believe, Hoops Latrell has accepted the 6-week ban.
Yeah, he has. So Latrell Mitchell will take no further part for the remainder of the season. It was obviously a massive talking point out of Friday night. The Roosters centre, Joey Manu, of whom Latrell won a couple of premierships, playing alongside at the Chooks. 3 plates inserted in his cheekbone. And the one little bit of silver lining for Joey is that he's doing okay in hospital at the moment. So we're thinking of him and wish him all the best on the road to recovery.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember in my life of watching footy guys ever seeing, I really felt for Joey Manu, the way he reacted, the way he approached Latrell. It was moving scenes.
He was quite upset, wasn't he? And it was not just anger, it was distress. He obviously a depressed fracture of the cheekbone, so he was in a lot of pain. He knew the extent of damage, at least to a certain point. He wouldn't have known the finer details, but he knew it was significant damage. And I think his reaction really just told the story. And Latrell gets this angry sort of mindset when he plays. It's like everything's personal with him. He takes offence at being tackled. Gets up like, "How dare you tackle me?" He's just got to learn to chill out and get some discipline back in his life. Like, for the life of me, that tackle the other night, he led with the shoulder straight into the face. Like, how he was allowed to stay on the field. I know Graham Annesley since come out and said he should have been sent off, and this is again the real concern for the game, that they're just so far off the mark, because at one point there was play on in this game.
Look, he's got to get those brain snaps out of his game. We've seen it time and time again where he just can have a little window in a game. Remember the Tigers game earlier this year? I think it was about round 6, and he ended up getting 4 weeks on the sidelines as a result of it, but he got hit with 3 separate charges. There was another incident a couple of weeks ago against the Gold Coast Titans where AJ Brimson's ended up with a plate in his cheekbone because Latrell kicked out at him. And look, in fairness, Latrell was trying to get a quick play of the ball and was trying to get back up. But
yeah, that was an accident, that one.
It was right on the edge though, Gordon, like it was right on the borderline. So he's got that in his game, and until he gets it out, it's going to continue to cause him problems.
You know what, I tell you what, I sat there and watched Penrith play South last week. I don't know whether I was with Fox or Triple M, and I called the first game. I'm going to stay and watch this. I sat there just in the crowd. The abuse that he cops, right? Have a go, do all this kind of stuff. And then when he does have a go, right, so I don't know what triggers him, but I sat there in the abuse that he cops, and there was a bloke in a South jersey with a South hat with a South flag hammering him. And then he goes, well, bugger this, I'm going to go have a crack or whatever he does. And I don't know why he takes, and Kenty, and it is true, because something must trigger him, and he goes super aggressive, and he's such a big, powerful guy. I don't think he meant to hurt Manu like that, and I don't think Manu would have reacted if it wasn't a teammate, an ex-teammate, a so-called friends. I reckon that was the reaction. Why would you do that to me? But I don't think Latrell, if you said this is what's going to happen to him, I don't think he wanted that to happen.
No, he didn't, Gordon, but it was it was a really reckless display.
Yeah.
And it was...
Do you know, live, Kenty, I watched the game, Phil Gould, everybody that watching it live, no one reacted until Joey Manu reacted. And then you looked and go, oh, that's a bit worse because of the injury.
Well, because
of the
in the live vision, Gordon, the angle
really
of
see
it was glossed over pretty quick. But then all of a sudden, when we went back and you were able to have a look at it from a variety of different spots, it was like, oh, okay, that's bad.
Yeah, mate, and he's got suspended, and they did miss the send-off. But that's the game. 5 weeks ago, we were all whinging when Tyson Gamble touched the guy and got sent to the sin bin. So they're not going to be perfect.
Oh, well, there's Trent Robinson. He has had quite an interesting year, a hard year for an NRL coach. Very critical there, Hoops, of Henry Perinara, very critical of the bunker. He says it's that bad, it's almost funny.
Whack. He didn't miss him, did
No.
he? So, look, I think Robbo is entitled to be as upset as what he was. I think that he'll be fine. Minimum 10,000, but perhaps maybe more, because it was an extremely pointed, cutting, and critical appraisal, and he did single out individuals and the bunker and all that sort of thing. So I'm sure that when the NRL executives sit down tomorrow, that they've got a big decision to make about how big the fine is.
It'll be like 25. It'll be a big one.
Yeah,
But
you know what? Victor Radley went mad about 6 weeks ago, maybe against Brisbane. He should have been sent. I think he got twice sent to the sin bin.
Twice in the bin, yeah.
He was going mad, right? I actually sent the Trent Robertson a couple of weeks ago. I said, don't change him. I love watching him play. He laughed.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that then. He didn't bag the bunker then and said, my player should have been sent to the bin. He was out of control. He was trying to take people's heads off.
Well, boys, we haven't really discussed this
You just
yet.
got to be consistent.
If Latrell's going to take the 6 weeks, what do you think, Paul? Is 6 weeks, is that justified? Is it too short? Or
no, it's 6 to 9. That was the window,
Yep.
depending on what he pleaded. That's about right.
Okay.
6 weeks, but I tell you what, they're going to get longer for him because his loading keeps going up.
Yeah.
And that and for all these people saying we should be getting rid of loading because they don't like the fact that it is so heavy, the fact is that loading is brought in to stop this becoming a repeated infringement from Latrell Mitchell. That's what you got to have loading for. You got to stop these guys who are continually falling foul of the rules and injuring players. Like Nofaluma, when he got hit earlier this year by Latrell, he thought he didn't go public with it, but privately he said he thought he'd been hit with a bat. He thought he'd broken his jaw. So it was a solid shot that got Nofaluma earlier this year. And everybody was saying at the time it was too much. Now Nofaluma didn't get involved in that at the time, but he thought he'd broken his jaw. That's how significant he thought it was. Clearly, Joey Manu knew straight away on Friday night that he'd suffered significant damage.
Yeah.
So he reacted in that way. So these are offences caused by the same player who's clearly just not copying the tip.
Well, he's had 6 charges to that point, dating back to the beginning of 2020, and now with this latest suspension, he's had 12 weeks on the sideline.
Do you guys think now? Do you think with Latrell missing, do you think Souths can win the premiership? Maybe you didn't anyway. I don't know, but obviously this lessens their chances. Hoops.
Yeah, no,
I
they
don't
can't
think.
win without him.
Yeah, I'm with Gordon.
They
I
can't
don't-
win without him.
No.
Wayne said he could. Wayne said in the press conference after he
Well,
could.
he's got to say that.
I
Well-
think he's telling white lies.
Really?
Yeah,